Today we will discuss about the main steps for the beta oxidation of the fatty acid. Just go and refer my previous video of preparatory steps of the beta oxidation before going further in this video. Now over here, as you can see, these are the four main steps of the beta oxidation, the breakdown of the fatty acids. Now over here, these all four reactions are sequentially repeated for complete oxidation of the fatty acid. Now after one round of four metabolic pathways, at the end you will get two main things. That is the acetyl-CoA, which will further go in the TCA cycle or citric acid cycle, tricarboxylic acid cycle, and the acyl-CoA will be formed. This unit is actually having 2 carbon less than the main fatty acyl-CoA, as you can see. So this will go again in this pathway until it is completely break down. Now first of all, the step 1, we have total 4 steps. Now first of all, the step 1, that is the FAD linked dehydrogenase. Now over here, what we did previously is that we activated this fatty acid to fatty acyl-CoA and we transferred this fatty acyl-CoA inside the mitochondrial matrix with the help of transporters, carnitine, translocase, cat1, cat2. Just refer my previous video for that. Now this fatty acyl-CoA will actually get dehydrogenated by the same name enzyme, acyl-CoA dehydrogenase. Okay, and the FAD will take its 2 hydrogen and will form trans-enoyl-CoA. Why enoyl? Because as you can see, there is double bond between 2 carbon atoms. That's why enoyl. And the trans form of that, so the trans-enoyl-CoA. Now just for one simplification, let me tell you that in step 1 there is FADH2 formation, and in step 3 there will be NADH2 formation, so it will be easier for you to remember. Now in step 2 there will be hydration of this enoyl compound. This enoyl group will be hydrated by the enoyl-CoA hydratase. So what will happen? The trans-enoyl-CoA will be converted into L-beta hydroxy fatty acyl-CoA, or we can say hydroxy acyl-CoA. Now this isomer, L isomer, is formed over here, just remember. So we will form L-beta hydroxy fatty acyl-CoA in this by the breakdown of this bond. Over here this bond will break down by the hydration. Now third is the NAD dependent dehydrogenase. First was FAD dependent, third is NAD dependent. Now over here the L-beta hydroxy acyl-CoA will be get oxygenated, or we can say the dehydrogenation of this will occur. Okay, and over here the H2H, over here as you can see the hydrogen is given to the NAD and it is converted into beta keto fatty acyl-CoA. Hydroxyl-CoA converted into keto acyl-CoA, just remember. And remember, this enzyme acts only on the L isomer. Okay. Now the step 4, cleavage. Over here the beta keto acyl-CoA will be converted into acetyl-CoA and acyl-CoA by the enzyme thiolase. Now I told you before what is the difference between the acetyl-CoA and acyl-CoA in my previous video, that the acetyl-CoA is the acetic acid combined with the coenzyme A, but the acyl-CoA is any fatty acid from C4 to C26 chain in length combined with the coenzyme A. Now this acetyl-CoA will go further in the TCA cycle, but the acyl-CoA will again do all the cycles, all the steps of this beta oxidation again until and unless it is completely converted into acetyl-CoA. So these are again the steps. Step 1 is the fatty acyl-CoA converted into trans-enoyl-CoA. Then this trans-enoyl-CoA is actually hydrated to L-beta hydroxy fatty acyl-CoA. Now this is again dehydrogenated and form beta keto acyl-CoA, and then it is cleaved to acetyl-CoA and acyl-CoA, and it will again go to any further all the steps until and unless it is not converted into acetyl-CoA. Now very important, energetics. Now this palmitic acid beta oxidation actually requires 7 cycles of this. I told you before that the acetyl-CoA will go to the TCA cycle, but the acyl-CoA will again go back and will do all the steps again until and unless it is not converted into the acetyl-CoA. So it needs 7 cycles for complete breakdown. For its complete breakdown, it needs 7 cycles. So of course it will give 8 acetyl-CoAs, and each acetyl-CoA gives 10 ATPs. Remember, each acetyl-CoA gives 10 ATPs by the ETS cycle. FADH2 gives 1.5 ATP and NADH2 gives 2.5 ATP. So over here, oxidation of acetyl-CoA will give 8 into 10, that is 80. FADH2 and NADH2 are 7 only. So 7 into 1.5 and 7 2.5 will give the respective ATPs. And over here the activation energy is also needed. So it will use 2 ATPs. So we will minus that. So at the end we will get gross total of 106 ATPs from this beta oxidation of fatty acid, or we can say palmitic acid of 16 carbon atoms. Now a more important thing is that the migratory birds, okay, are easily able to travel from one place to another, okay, in a very continuous manner, because the beta oxidation of them is very active and they have around 70% of the body fat, which is around 30% more as compared to the non-migratory birds. Now this beta oxidation is also very helpful for metabolic for formation, or it's a very great source of metabolic water in some animals like desert animals and killer whales. So they actually get water by the beta oxidation of fatty acids only. Now the regulation of the beta oxidation. Now the availability of the free fatty acid actually regulates the beta oxidation, means more free fatty acid, more beta oxidation of course. Now the level of free fatty acid is further regulated by the glucagon-insulin ratio. If the glucagon is high, of course this beta oxidation, this process will be high. If insulin is high, this beta oxidation process will be in low rate or slow rate. Now this CAT1 that means the now the CAT1 that is the carnitine acyl transferase 1 is the regulator of the entry of the fatty acid into the mitochondria. I told you before that this CAT1 actually helps in the entry of the fatty acid into the mitochondrial matrix for further its breakdown, right? Because the main breakdown of the fatty acid occurs in the mitochondrial matrix only, and the CAT1 is a transporter of that. So if CAT1 is present, it will help in the beta oxidation. But if CAT1 is absent, okay, so if CAT1 is not present, the entry will be inhibited. And also the CAT1, now this CAT1 function actually inhibited by the malonyl CoA. Malonyl CoA you might have heard. Malonyl CoA actually used in the de novo synthesis of fatty acid. We will talk about this in our further videos. So malonyl CoA will actually help in the de novo synthesis of fatty acid, while this CAT1 actually helps in the cleavage or we can say the breakdown of the fatty acids, right? So malonyl CoA and the CAT1, they both have opposite activities. So if malonyl CoA is present, so of course CAT1 function is inhibited and so beta oxidation is inhibited. Simple. Now defects in the beta oxidation. Now abnormalities in the transfer of fatty acid into mitochondria and defects in oxidation can lead to deficient energy production by the oxidation of the long chain fatty acid. And so some common features are, of course, if the this fatty acids are not used for obtaining energy, so body will use some other source to get energy. So it will cause less amount of glucose and ketone in our body, because body will use that things only to obtain energy, right? So it will cause hypoketotic hypoglycemia, hyperammonemia, skeletal muscle weakness, and the liver disease, right? And what if it cause I told you before also in my previous video about regulation that this translocase deficiency actually is present in some of the individual. This translocase named transporter of the fatty acid is mainly absent in some of the individual, and it leads to defective metabolism of the long chain fatty acid, and in this condition the muscle cramps of the body are actually precipitated in starvation or high strenuous exercise. So this translocase deficiency also cause acylcarnitine accumulation in the body, and the body actually the body tissue accumulates this. So dietary supplementation of carnitine has been found to improve the symptoms of this in some cases. Now organic acidureas. Now there are many disorders of the metabolism and the fatty acids only. The branched fatty acid, branched and aromatic amino. Now the translocase deficiency. Now over here translocase, I told you before in my previous video about preparatory steps of beta oxidation, is that this actually is the transporter of fatty acid from the cytoplasm into the mitochondrial matrix. But if this deficiency occurs, so acylcarnitine accumulation occurs in the body, because there will this acylcarnitine won't be able to enter inside the matrix. To understand this well, just watch my previous video. Now the organic acidureas. Now there are many disorders of the metabolism of the fatty acids, branched and aromatic amino acid, and the citric acid cycle. So means any of disorders in the metabolism of all these things actually causes the this organic aciduria. Now these are mainly characterized by the accumulation of the organic acid and the Now these are mainly characterized by the accumulation of organic acid in the body tissues and their excretion in the urine, because they would be so much accumulated in the body that they will be excreted through the urine. The patient present with the acidosis vomits, conversion occurs, and finally goes to the coma. The children often die in infancy case only, and in this case, and if they survive, there is mental retardation and physical retardation. Diagnosis actually confirmed by showing the presence of organic acid in urine by chromatography, and strict diet should be taken by such individuals. So this was all about the main beta oxidation steps of beta oxidation of fatty acids, especially the palmitic acid. Just remember the main steps, the energetics, its defects, and also just watch my previous video of preparatory steps of beta oxidation. Hope you understood it well. Thank you so much.